everybody. It's Karyl Morris from the Image Impact Group and your host here at the Visibility Sessions, the Franchise Edition, where we are interviewing the people behind the brands. And today I have with me Casey Floyd from the new Franchise Fit. Ta-da! Drum roll, is a new company. Casey, welcome.
Thank you. So good to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So give everybody just a quick synopsis. Who is Casey Floyd? How did you come up with a franchise flip? Wow, franchise fit, and what's it all about?
Great question. So I have had just a complete immersion into franchising since I've been in this space. So from being an executive on the franchisor side to being a now two-time franchisee, and being a consultant for the last 2 years. I was a part of a great group. And over the last month, I've decided to spread my wings and fly like most entrepreneurs want to do, want to go out on their own and be their own boss, so to speak. So I started the Franchise Fit Company about a month ago. So we are, as they say, building the plane as I'm flying. But I am really here to educate individuals on consulting, given my very unique and depth of experience in the space, and then hopefully help people find the right fit, because I think that is the most important part of business ownership.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really cool too about you, Casey, is that, and this is one of the reasons that I reached out to you for the interview, is that you haven't just been a consultant, you've been on all sides. And take us through a little bit about what that looks like, because you've been a franchisor, you've been or a franchisee, you've worked within the franchisor, right? And now and as a franchise consultant, what does that look like to you? And how do you manage each one of those stages?
Yeah. Well, one, I think when I first entered into franchising specifically, which is where I went into the corporate side for the franchisor, I really honestly thought it was McDonald's and Taco Bell. So, number one, big eye-opening space because I went into the home services realm. But being within the franchisor, I mean, you're learning the operations. How are you bringing in new owners? How are you supporting owners? What is good training? How are you helping people be successful? And that whole infrastructure there, right? Which is part of why you buy into being a franchise owner, is that you do have that support and infrastructure to get you off the ground. So very quickly understood how important that is for a
Mhm.
franchisee, right? How are you going to help me, coach me on a proven business model? And then run that forward, being a franchisee, living that every day, right? Like, what is here? What's my CRM? Who can I call? Help, give me some best practices, who are other owners that are successful. So kind of really wrapping all of that around into helping people explore, right? And understanding them as a person and what they need to really align that franchisor and that business model for them but yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. So what is it about the consultant role that you love so much?
Yeah, so early on in my career, I spent almost a decade at the University of Virginia Darden School of Business, and part of my career there, I was a career coach for MBA students to land jobs in Fortune 100, 200 companies.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the most rewarding part of that job was when a student would come to you and be so excited because you helped them land that dream job, right? So
Hmm.
to me, that was just so gratifying to have that level of impact in someone's life. So now that I've branched off into franchising and really gotten the MBA there in that world, I'm kind of like bringing it full circle that I still get to coach people, help them find that dream job, just really matching them to that.
Yeah.
But I also think seeing people take off and be their own boss and own their own career is even more rewarding. They're
Very
getting to
cool.
do it.
Yeah. So, you know, when you look at business ownership, it's interesting because as an entrepreneur, I'll be honest, I didn't even consider franchising when I decided to go into business for myself. I didn't know what I didn't know. So walk me through, what's the difference between going through a consultant and going into franchising versus being your own boss as an entrepreneur starting from scratch. Why would I choose franchising?
Yeah, no, and I do get a lot of folks questioning that because I will tell you, the acquisition space is so huge, and it is really the sexy thing these days, right? To acquire a business. And a lot of folks don't necessarily think franchising, because I think most of them think it's millions of dollars, right? Especially if you're
Yeah.
thinking of the big the fast food spaces. But a lot of times leaving that corporate world and jumping into like, whoa, all of this is mine. Like I own the brand. I own, what do we do? How do we do it? It's so daunting, I think, for folks
Yeah.
that really kind of want to do it, but don't know where to start. So in my mind, franchising really gives you that springboard into business ownership with somewhat of a net to allow you to really build on it. So it's not all the ideas and all the systems from scratch,
Yeah.
but you get to start and have some runway with that. And again, you're getting into a network of other owners, so you're not alone in that space. But once you cut your teeth and you're out there as a successful franchise owner, who's to say you don't create another idea? You're serving customers, you see other ideas. So it's not to say you can't go do something on your own. It just may
Yeah.
be stage 2 or stage 3.
Right. Well, tell me, how did you end up in franchising to begin with? And where did that come into your, you know, scope?
Yeah. Yeah, no, like one of the things I will tell you, I'm always about the network. Even when I was getting my MBA at the Darden School, we talked about the power of the network. And I think both of us know, right? It's the people you meet in your life, the people that you impact throughout your career. You just never know when your paths are going to cross again. So every job I've had, it's been kind of part of that network. Someone's reached out, you've engaged, and there's a moment. And it was exactly that. It was a former colleague and another alum of our MBA program reached out for me to do some contract work. And once I met the leadership team, they offered me a full-time job, and boom, there we go. Franchising.
Wow.
I'm all in.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. I tell people I fell into franchising. There was no map or journey that guided me there, but I think everything happens for a reason. And here we are with an unbelievable career.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say, because one of the things I want to talk to you about is the visibility component of franchising. What does that mean for a franchisee, going in? So one of the things I've learned about the consulting business is that a lot of times as a franchise consultant, you're taking somebody they could be a teacher, and now all of a sudden they're in home services. And how do you help them understand what the new visibility requirements are, and what that looks like as being part of a team, as a teaching team, let's say, moving to now you're the face of your business?
Yeah, I think the first part with folks to be able to visualize that or give them that picture is understanding what they love to do, right? Like when you're a teacher, for example, using your example, there's reasons why you went to do that field. There are
Yeah.
probably a lot of things that you dislike about that career too. And so part of that is just taking some of that design and pulling out, why you want to get out of bed, like what gets you excited about the day. And what are your strengths? What do you get, again, excited about? How do we design around that? Even down to the people that you serve, the customers, your staff, all of that is intrinsic. I think a lot of people just don't know how to really peel back the onion to uncover that. And so once we do it, it could be gardening, who knows? It could be house painting, because the job of being that owner aligns with that, right? There's a lot of similarities of being a teacher. It's just letting people open their eyes and be like, wow, I can see myself doing that. That sounds exciting.
Yeah. One of the things too that I think is so cool about franchising is that there's such an emphasis on transferable skills. And I just think that that's amazing. So being a teacher moving into home services is not out of the question, right? Oh, I don't know anything about home services, but that's okay.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you, Karyl, like a lot of the franchisors actually don't want experts to come in, right? Like because they do have that model, they do have training and education. They want you to come in and learn their way of going about the business, how they serve customers, what that brand is, and how they do it. And so, yeah, they're going to teach you. You just need to be able to come in and run the business, so to speak, and drive it.
So on that note, are there certain criteria that in your in your research now and being having worked with lots of different franchisors and matching people to those, what do you find is the most popular criteria that they're looking for?
The franchisor, what they're looking
Yeah.
for. I would say a couple things. One is following a process, right? Following a model. And even going back to one of your other questions you gave me of like start from scratch or franchise. If you're
Yeah.
just that like, great idea, always wanting to change things, maybe franchising wouldn't be for you. But they
Hmm.
are looking for someone that wants to kind of follow the playbook, so to speak,
Yeah.
not come in and recreate the wheel. So that's one. Um, but I think the biggest thing is just driven, right? Are you driven to get up and run your day and get out there and hit the pavement, work hard and grow a business? Because again, what you put in is what you put out. And I do tell folks like, listen, just because it's a franchise, you don't open the box with a pretty bow and it's automatically perfect. Like it is hard work, it is business ownership. So I think someone that is hungry is pretty much status quo across all brands.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. What what's one piece of advice that you'd give to somebody who's trying to build their career within the franchise space, whether that is in franchising as a franchisor or a Z, I'm learning the lingo here, right? The Z's, right? Or a
Yep.
consultant. What would you say? How do you get your feet wet?
Ooh, that's a great question. Again, I do as I would, preach to anyone. What is your fit and what are you strong at? So where do you want to jump in? Is it on the franchisor side because you do still want to be in corporate? What will you want to learn in franchising? There's so many different roles within a franchising operation that someone could connect in. Business ownership, that's just you got to own all the bells and whistles, right? You got
Yeah.
to be able to all the levers. Um, but really, at the end of the day, I think someone that can really take off and be successful in franchising, get to know all the roles, right? Get to know, again, I think I'm fortunate that I've played so many spaces, but how that
Mhm.
intertwines and interconnects can really build your success and trust in this system, right?
Yeah.
Trust is huge.
Are there any organizations that you would recommend people belong to, or any organizations that you have felt have helped you in this career path?
Yeah, so I belong to IFPG, so the International Franchising Professionals Group, and they've been fantastic. Whether it's franchisors that belong to that organization and/or fellow consultants, being a part of mastermind groups and engaging with folks across best practices has been great. I know the IFA is a really great organization for training and education as well. So there's a lot of tools and resources out there to learn more.
Very good. Well, what are you most excited about in starting this new adventure?
Oh, well, I mean, owning my outcomes and being my own boss, right? Like hashtag you'll see it all the time. So I think it's kind of going back to, being that business owner, right? Just making the decisions. And it's what I hear from a lot of my clients. I want to be able to make my own decisions. I want to, be in control of, what my face, my brand says. And I want to be in control of my client experience as well. And yeah, so it's just all things control. And that makes me sound like a control freak, but not it.
Something to that, right? I mean, what you put in, you get out, right? And we talked about that. And when you are a go-getter, when you're a person that really takes full control of how you present yourself and how you work and the way that you work with people, it feels really good to have that autonomy to be able to shift how you feel necessary to get those goals accomplished, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
so much. I mean, I know what I put in every day is what I get out, right? And I know if I take my foot off the pedal, things will slow down. But again, that is my decision to make. And if I'm
Mhm.
having a bad day, I can take a moment and, breathe and nobody's telling me, asking where I am.
Yeah.
So it is kind of that
Yeah.
make your success, make yourself smile. And, I'm just a firm believer. I have not, since I've done this job, woken up not looking forward to what I do. And
Love
I think
that.
that's huge. And it's what I want for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I think that's a fantastic place to end because That is what it's all about. And at the core of this, as a consultant, your job is to make that perfect fit. And I love the name of your company. It says it all, the franchise fit.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Thank
what
you.
is the best way for people to get hold of you?
Yeah, no, thank you. So, as I said, I'm building the plane as we fly it. So the website should go live very soon, which is thefranchisefitcompany.com. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Casey Hughes Floyd, or thefranchisefitcompany.com, or Casey at thefranchisefitcompany.com, my email address. So all
Excellent.
the ways.
All the ways, all the ways. Well, I have loved all of our time together. We've had a lot of fun, and I jokingly said with Casey, one of the things that she has is a farm with horses. And
Yeah, yes, yes.
I
You're
said,
going to come to Virginia and ride.
because I'll be knocking on your door.
Please do, please do. We will be ready.
Too funny. All right, everybody. As usual, we are here to interview the people behind the brands, and we're so glad that Casey was able to join us. Make sure to like and follow us on YouTube. And if you or somebody you know should be featured on our program, give me a shout and we will see what we can do. All right, Casey, have a fantastic day and we will see you soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.